There's also a question of what sort of cable to send these messages over and how far the signals can go. With an Ethernet wire, the kind that you find in your home or office or school, you see measurable signal loss or interference over just a few hundred feet. For the internet to work all around the world, we need to have an alternative method to send bits really long distances. We're talking like across oceans. So what else can we use? Well, what do we know that moves a lot faster than just like electricity through a wire? Light. We can actually send bits as light beams from one place to another using a fiber optic cable. A fiber optic cable is a thread of glass engineered to reflect light. When you send a beam of light down the cable, light bounces up and down the length of the cable until it is received on the other end. Depending on the bounce angle, we can actually send multiple bits simultaneously, all of them traveling at the speed of light. So fiber is really, really fast. But more importantly, the signal doesn't really degrade over long distances. This is how you can go hundreds of miles without signal loss. This is why we use fiber optic cables across the ocean floors to connect one continent to another. In 2008, there was a cable that was actually cut near Alexandria, Egypt, which really interrupted the internet for most of the Middle East and India. So we take this internet thing for granted, but it's really a pretty fragile physical system. And fiber is awesome, but it's also really expensive and hard to work with. For most purposes, you're going to find copper cable. But how do we move things without wires? How do we send things wirelessly? Wireless bit sending machines typically use a radio signal to send bits from one place to another. The machines have to actually translate the ones and zeros into radio waves of different frequencies. The receiving machines reverse the process and convert it back into binary on your computer. So wireless has made our internet mobile, but a radio signal doesn't travel all that far before it completely gets garbled. This is why you can't really pick up a Los Angeles radio station in Chicago. As great as wireless is, today it still relies on the wired internet. If you're in a coffee shop using Wi-Fi, then the bits get sent through this wireless router and then are transferred to the physical wire to travel the really long distances of the internet. The physical method for sending bits may change in the future, whether it's lasers sent between satellites or radio waves from balloons or drones, but the underlying binary representation of information and the protocols for sending that information and receiving that information have pretty much stayed the same. Everything on the internet, whether it's words, emails, images, cat videos, puppy videos, all come down to these ones and zeros being delivered by electronic pulses, light beams, radio waves, and lots of love.